Okay, this next performer, this next man, he's more than a man. He's godlike, in my opinion. He died so I can tell shitty jokes. He is my Lord and Savior. Please give it up for Christ.
Yeah, this is probably not the physique of somebody that you expected to come up here when he said more than a man. But here I am. Sean Murphy. Wow, he said he was a redneck. But I didn't believe it because he was holding a clipboard. Then he started talking about dead Nazis and abortion. And I was like, okay, he's probably a redneck. Also, he was like, what was that? Like Frenchy and Carpiquois or whatever. Like, Sean, you do know you're on 82nd Avenue right now. We don't speak like that out here. Yeah, I understand that my outfit looks like Haley Klarfeld's lava lamp because it was definitely from Goodwill bins. Okay, did you know they have haunted houses in March? Did you know that? Yeah, they've got haunted houses in March. I just went to one. It's called the IHOP on 82nd Avenue. Yeah, place is eerie. Yeah, and I know everyone's always like, oh, you shouldn't go to the IHOP on 82nd Avenue. Tweakers hang out there. True, but in their defense, they do work there. So, got a reason to be there. Made the mistake of going into the bathroom there. Ooh, you feel like you got to say a blessing before you go in there. I'm not even really religious, but I felt like I had to ask God for forgiveness for using that bathroom. Oh. It's the kind of bathroom where you'd swear no one would ever feel comfortable pooping in there until you see that somebody has already pooped in the urinal. Yeah, there's poop on the floor, obviously. There's poop on the walls. Somehow there is poop on the ceiling. It's that kind of bathroom. And after hearing all of that, the management at the IHOP has the audacity to put a passcode on the door. Like there are people actually trying to go into that bathroom. Even the homeless people go in there and they're like, ugh, gross. I'm just going to poop downtown. It's that kind of place. Yeah, and then people like complain to the management, right? They're like, these employees are just lazy. They're not cleaning this bathroom. Like, no, that bathroom is beyond help. Okay, it's not. You can't do any. It's like a horse with a broken ankle. You just got to put that bathroom down. And I'm pretty sure that somebody already tried to, because at that particular IHOP, there's 2 bullet holes in the wall. So. Yeah. Plus, like, I don't believe that it's about laziness. Because I was in there and I saw a malt liquor bottle with poop in it. Do you have any idea how hard it is to poop into a malt liquor bottle? It's not a lazy person. Yeah, there was a newspaper stuffed into the toilet, which shocked me because I didn't know that anyone at the IHOP read. That's crazy. And then somebody had the nerve to deface the bathroom stall by carving into it Free Gaza. All right? And I don't know why you'd write that in there. Because nobody that matters uses the bathroom at the IHOP on 82nd Avenue. You got to know your audience. Probably touch more lives, make more of a difference if you just wrote like $3 off Camel Crush cigarettes when you use the promo code cigarette butts in the toilet. I looked under the booth at that place. Ooh, yeah. There was a guy camping under there. He had his RV parked under it. He was smoking fentanyl out of a kid's menu. Actually, I love that place. I'm just trying to get you to go there. It's awesome. Okay, has anyone heard this thing that people sometimes say? Well, actually, you're all from Portland, right? Okay. Yeah, so I just went to Ohio not long ago. All right? Well, yeah, funny you should say that, okay? So I get back to Portland, and multiple times now I've heard like, oh, Ohio, huh? Hear they're all a bunch of cow fuckers out there. And I just don't think that people in Portland have any room to talk. Okay, because I saw a guy in downtown Portland literally fucking a stop sign. Yeah, and like in typical Portland fashion, he was like, it's consensual. I was like, pretty sure the sign says stop. You hear anybody say this thing, it's not an unrelated note here, but you ever hear anybody say this thing, like, if women ran the world, there would be no problems? You heard that? Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's true. Okay, because the company Buzzballs is owned by women. Do you have any idea how many fights have been started because of Buzzballs? Yeah. And people are always like, oh, a woman's capable of doing anything a man could do. Sure, but that's not a very high bar. Like the other day, I mixed Everclear into a Capri Sun. So, it's not saying much. Yeah, and if you go into a 7-Eleven, all right, and you try and get a Biggie Buzzball, like Biggie Buzzballs are like the Buzzballs that are like the size of a soccer ball. Okay, yeah. So if you go into a 7-Eleven to get a Biggie Buzzball, on the side of it, it has the words, proudly women owned. Okay? And there's a lot of words that you could put on the side of a Biggie Buzzball. I just don't think that proud should be one of them. Okay? For those of you who don't know what a Buzzball is, Buzzballs are the wine that come in the flavors chocolate and jalapeno. Buzzballs are the wine that come in the same colors as Mountain Dew. Yeah, and if you go into a 7-Eleven to look for a Biggie Buzzball, first of all, you may notice that they sell them in 2-packs sometimes. Never want just one bottle of wine the size of a soccer ball. But also, you will notice they are unrefrigerated. And that's because if you're drinking a Biggie Buzzball, you're not doing it for the flavor. Like, you're going to fight somebody. That's the reason you're doing that. Okay. Now would probably be a good time to let everybody know that I relapsed again. I ate another 7-Eleven taquito. I swore I would never do that again. I am so ashamed. Those things are like the steel reserves of food. Yeah, there's like a reason why people eat those behind the 7-Eleven. Yeah, and if somebody like walks up on you when you're like behind the 7-Eleven eating one, and they like catch you, you gotta like quickly scramble to like make up something less embarrassing that you were doing. You're like, no, I was just masturbating back here. It's shameful. Okay, so you heard about these planes crashing, right? Yeah? Okay. I just want to say, all right, a Spirit flight never would have crashed into another plane over Washington, D.C. Because a Spirit flight never would have made it to Washington, D.C. Would have been diverted because, like, a couple people got into a fist fight on there or something. Plus, I'm pretty sure if a Spirit flight were going down, somebody would come around with a debit card reader for the oxygen masks. Just when you've like paid for it, right? And then you think you're gonna get your oxygen mask. They're like, oh, it's just gonna ask you a quick question here. It's a gratuity. You gotta pick like 20, 25, 30%, whatever. And it's awful because now I'm gonna have to die knowing that I clicked no tip. I love Spirit though. I flew from just like a couple weeks ago, I flew from Portland to LA to Ohio to New York, and then New York back to Portland. And for all those flights combined, I paid like $8. I love Spirit. But to be fair, I also like Temu. Yeah, Oh my God, so much awesome stuff on Temu though. Did you know you can get veneers on Temu for $2? You can get a boat on Temu for $30. It's great. I'm pretty sure if I cut my fingers off, I could get more fingers from Temu. Yeah, and I was talking about Spirit to somebody, and he was like, "Oh, Spirit Airlines pilots." He was letting me in on like a little secret or whatever. He was like, "Oh, Spirit Airlines pilots are bad." He was like, "They're horrible." He said, when he was like every Spirit flight he's ever been on, the pilot flew like a Vietnam helicopter pilot hopped up on mescaline. And I was like, "Oh, well, when you put it that way, that sounds awesome." And then he was like, he was like, "No, I'm serious. There was a Spirit pilot one time who took off from the runway without approval from air traffic control and nearly hit another plane in the sky on takeoff." And then he said that somebody on the Spirit flight, one of the passengers, literally shit and pissed in their seat. It's like, okay, but to be fair, I've never been on a Spirit flight where someone didn't shit and piss in the seat. And that was on a smooth flight. I'm pretty sure they want you to pee in your seat. Pretty sure it's encouraged. Because the flight attendants are smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. Anyway, I also love Spirit. That's a theme of this set here, is that I'm just talking to you about all the things that I like. Yeah. Okay, as was very astutely brought up earlier, we have a new president now. Don't know if you noticed. And when that election happened, Joe Biden took office, and now I keep hearing people talking about it, and they're like on social media, and they're like, "Oh, like Joe Biden had like several months. He should have just gone crazy, in those last few months. He should have like pooped in the Oval Office or something." Like, I'm pretty sure Joe Biden pooped in the Oval Office. It definitely happened, probably multiple times. Pretty sure Joe Biden pooped during the debate. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, you know this like gossip about all this like gossip people have about like the. Do you follow political gossip? Okay. Well, there's this thing people talk about where they're like this alleged cabal of baby-eating pedophiles in the Democratic Party. You've heard this, Pizzagate, all that stuff? Yeah. Okay. Well, I know this is going to be kind of a hot take, but I don't think that Joe Biden eats babies. Okay? And they say that babies are supposed to be like a super nutrient, right? They're supposed to be this like, yeah, there's supposed to be like this adrenochrome in it or something that's supposed to like be really good for you. And I just don't think Joe Biden's got a baby-eating body. Dude's not fit enough. But The Rock, if you told me The Rock ate babies, I'd believe you. Okay, what about you guys history buffs? Yeah. Yes? Okay. I really like history. And I've been thinking a lot about like those watershed moments in history, right? Those like moments when like the world was one way before and then everything changed afterward and nothing was the same. Like the moon landing, right? Or World War II. Or in the case of my generation, 2 girls, 1 cup. Yes. And I was having some trouble not long ago because everybody I knew, who in here has seen 2 girls, 1 cup and would care to admit it? All right, statistically, it's probably more than clapped. You didn't clap. You look like you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you clap for.
You know what it is? Okay. If there's anybody in here who doesn't know what it is, I'm very sorry for what you're about to hear next. And these next 5 minutes. Okay, I had not watched Two Girls, One Cup. All right, I hadn't seen it, and everybody kept talking about it, and I was embarrassed that I hadn't seen it. Okay, and I didn't want to feel like the weird one, so I decided to watch Two Girls, One Cup, so I wouldn't be weird. And it turns out that Two Girls, One Cup is actually a trailer for an 1.5-hour long Brazilian scat porn video called Hungry Bitches. Yeah, and when I went to watch Two Girls, One Cup, I didn't know that the video everybody was talking about was the trailer. So I watched that 1.5-hour long Brazilian scat porn video called Hungry Bitches. And while I was watching that work of cinema, I thought to myself, while I was sitting in my robe, do you think anybody's ever watched this before and just sipped on a cup of tea? Because that is what I was doing when I was watching it. And I think the most interesting part of that video for me was they do the whole thing, right? Where they I'm so sorry about this. Where they poop into a cup. And then they lick the poop. And then they pee on that poop. And then they lick it again. And then they start eating it. And then, and then blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and then they start throwing up into each other's mouths, etc. And so they're, and then right before one of the girls goes to trigger her gag reflex to puke into the other girl's mouth, she actually wipes her finger off on her pants. Because you wouldn't want to get anything gross in your mouth. And they got like conspiracies about this. Did you know that? They've got like a whole Two Girls, One Cup universe. Yeah, there's like fan fiction. And I was reading a conspiracy that was like, oh, that wasn't real. They actually put chocolate cake up her butt before the shoot. I was like, oh, thank God. It's just poopy butthole cake she was eating. At least it was just that. Okay. You know what I'm gonna close with, right? You gave me the light, right? Is that what that was, Brandon? Okay. All right. So every time I start talking about the pooping in the mouth and stuff, then it's always like time to go. I don't know. Was anybody eating? Good. Okay. All right. I'm glad because what I'm about to do is worse. No. Okay. So I've been reading 50 Shades of Grey. It was another one where I felt left out because I hadn't read it, right? And I don't want to give any spoilers, but that book is filthy. Yeah, okay? And I also found out not really the kind of book you could read in a Starbucks. I've been doing that, okay? But as I was reading it in the Starbucks, I was kind of getting through the book, and I was like, there's something missing here. I was like, something about this book makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, I think I know what it is. It's that there's no product placement. Like the whole book, right? Everything's got product placement now, but not smut. There's no product placement in smut. And I told this to my friends, and they were like, you're crazy. I don't know why you'd even think of that. You're weird. And I felt like Einstein, honestly, after I had that thought. I was like, shit, I could put product placement in smut, and I could make a bunch of money. And so to prove to my friends that I was not crazy, because they were like, oh, that wouldn't sound natural. I was like, oh, you could put product placement in smut and still have it sound natural. And they were like, you're insane. And so to prove that I wasn't crazy, I sat down and I wrote some smut with product placement in it. And to prove that I'm not crazy, I'm gonna read it really quickly to you. Okay? So, yeah, I'm gonna prove to you that you can, that you could put product placement in smut and still have it sound natural. So let me show you what I mean, okay? And I'm gonna read this to you the way that I read smut in my head, all right? This is proof that you could put product placement in smut and still have it sound natural. I did not just climax in a Pizza Hut. She blurted out. She meant to just think it. And to think, I haven't even touched you yet, he cooed. This place makes you horny as hell, and I'm full on meat lovers pizza. But I won't be satiated until we've tended to business, little brute. Run for it, her brain warned fitfully. Take off your underpants, her wicked body cried. But it was no use. Compared to the power of her lustful body, her mind was weak and floppy, like the crusts of the leading competitor. As he came closer, she could see the intensity in his piercing green eyes that reminded her he was no spoiled priss. He was a strong, determined working man with grit. He had been working at Pizza Hut for many lifetimes. And not just at one of those takeout stores. No, he never did anything without going all the way. He worked at one with a buffet. And he had just gotten off. She took a deep, desperate breath. She could still smell the yeast and onions on him. Her mouth watered. Her cunt was dripping. Taking off her panties seemed almost practical now. He leaned in dominantly and slid his tongue across the leftover garlic butter in the corner of her teasing lips. His tongue still had the faint aura of pepperoni. What could she do? She was powerless to his seductive charms on this pulsating solstice. Maybe we should just eat more of these reasonably priced hot wings. She choked out pleadingly. Save it, Evelyn. He growled. I'm gonna fill you up like a stuffed crust pizza. He slipped a finger in her. His fingers were cold and greasy from all the mouth-watering cheese. No one does cheese like the Hut. Doing this will ruin me, but I have no strength left to fight this, Alessandro. She moaned. Her hand ran down the long scar on his thigh, the result of a heart-wrenching pizza cutter accident. I'm gonna bend you over the microwave and have you like a filthy harlot, he whispered commandingly. As he brought his member up close to her, she could see it was enormous, like a Parmesan breadstick from the Hut. Maybe, she thought, it would taste like one too. Anyway, so I'm not crazy. I'm embarrassed to admit how long I spent writing that.